Okay, am I there now? Do y'all see me? We we don't need to see Don Wells. That's funny. All right.
What do you have?
See which I'm getting my refrigerator in there, ain't I? All right. I'm trying, man. I think my green screen's too short for my face or something. I don't know. Can you see me now? Okay, good. Yeah, my husband's my best friend, man. We work together at a car lot, and so we're kind of used to each other's. After 20 years, we should be used to each other. So, well, Sarah, he'll walk you through all that if you want to give him a call sometime. Yeah, after this is over, he can walk you through it, or whenever you want to, whenever you're free, he can help you through all that. All right, so all good now. Thanks, John Deere. Glad y'all are here. I was in a chat earlier today, and somebody said that there was new information happening with summer. So I started paying attention to what they were saying, and they were saying that the camper is back and that she's living back on the property. Does that mean power is on and all that? Hey, Jimmy, by the bayou. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. So, y'all, I want to talk about this because in rural America, there's not a lot of choices for foster care. And I know where I am in rural America, they really push social services. When I say they, social services really pushes for reunification. And when they reunite, they'll put them on a sort of like what they do in school. If you have a child struggling, they do like a IEP where it's a plan. You have a plan of attack, so to speak. Well, they'll do that in their reunification if this happens, where they'll have to, undergo some counseling as a family. They'll have, service plans, Sarah. Thank you. They'll have pop-in visits. They will also get services that are going to help them stay together. They'll get help with power deposits. They'll get help with, Salvation Army will come out and give those kids beds. And they will do, drug tests, drug screens, and that sort of thing. If he has completed his sentence, which he almost has, we're coming up on, today's the 17th, on the 30th he gets out. So if he's done everything he's supposed to do, what reason do they have to keep his children from him legally, not ethically, morally, or, all those things? Honestly, on paper, legally, there's no charges against him coming from social services or anyone else for that matter. I haven't heard anything else coming out of Utah. Have you guys? So when there's a shortage of foster care, foster parents, and they do push for reunification, and Candace is living back on their property, and he has done everything he was supposed to do, those kids are going to go back home. Yes, they most certainly will. There's no reason not to. And I think that, Sarah, that was a rumor that she signed over. I'm almost certain she hasn't signed over anything. I think she just hasn't been doing what she was supposed to be doing. I'm pretty sure there is potentially charges against Dawn. Let's just say this. What if there aren't? What if he's only done what he was supposed to do is because he was locked up? Exactly. And they were able to monitor his activity and make him behave. So, guys, I've watched it happen. Those kids most certainly could go back home. Nobody is off the hook, as the police has said. The kids are not going home. I hope you're right, Sarah. I have not heard of any pending charges against them coming from social services. So how can they legally do that? I want to hear what you know. Do you want to come up, Sarah, so you don't have to type? I know it's easier to talk than it is to type a bunch of. If you'd like, I'll have my husband drop a link. Anybody that wants to come up and talk about this, I want to brainstorm, because there's a huge what if in rural America. Okay. I know that there was such a shortage that they had to move them to another county to find one that was willing to take them with their issues, alleged issues. Put some allegedlys up there. So, okay, come on up, Sarah. Let's brainstorm this a little bit. I know that neither of us, know anything finite, but let's really think about that. Let's hope that there's going to be a village waiting to help this family, because that most certainly, if it still looks like Summer has been abducted, then why would they keep their children from them?
Am I on?
Yeah.
Well, I believe, like I was saying, where the police say nobody's off the hook, they are actually potentially facing charges, meaning there's potential suspects. Everyone's a suspect right now. So I don't think where you're a suspect, you can get your kids back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And allegedly, as the boys might have said things, as it's a rumor to us, but I'm pretty sure there's a reason.
My gosh, y'all. I'm like thinking, wait a minute. They had to step outside the county.
Yes.
And I happen to know that in rural America, I hear that buzzword reunification a lot because of the shortage, and because there's such a need with addicted parents where they're trying to get clean and the kids have to go somewhere. So there's a lot of foster care being taken up. So I'm just throwing that what if out there. Christine says, what if? I think not. Isn't there an order? Is there an order for him to stay away from the kids?
Well, there is a shortage, but last I knew, the kids are basically in some sort of protective home. They're actually been moved out of their town to protect them, and they may even be under other last names to protect them in the schools and everything, so people won't bug them because there's an open investigation. I don't even think they're like a few hours away at least, I believe, because I remember that Dawn and Candace weren't going to visit them as scheduled.
I couldn't afford the gas or whatever.
Yeah, right. And that they might have helped them if they made the effort and asked. There's coupons and other things available that they may have helped them with that. To the best of my knowledge, they could have contacted agencies for that.
Okay, Jimbo, shave your head up. It's Friday. Why
not? Yeah. So I think they're staying put where they are. And the last they knew, I think two boys were together, and then the older one had some behavior type problems, and they were all doing eventually better in their homes, and the younger ones were doing real well. And I thought I remembered that the foster had even considered adopting if it was an option. They're doing so well.
I heard that too, but have they done it?
We wouldn't know. They have no business to tell us because they're protected.
Right. I know. I just, all the what ifs out there. It's like Missing and Miss says, if there was a plan in place, he most certainly blew it with the DUI. Yeah.
They start over again. Every time you break something on that list, it starts over again. And I know this because my own sister and my own family growing up. I grew up starting at the age of 9 months and up, off and on foster care my whole life until I aged out.
I'm sorry, Sarah.
It's fine. I'm used to it now, but I don't remember when I was a baby, so I just remember like a couple of years, being like when I would go in and out of it all the time. I remember being like, I guess you could say at least a few years old when I start having memories of going in and out. And I, like when I was a kid, I didn't even know how to say the name. I just knew that it was negative to me. I would say, I remember saying, I don't want to go to a frosting home, because I thought it was called frosting. Because I was
frosting home.
Yeah, that's what I called it.
Oh, bless your heart.
It's all good. I'm over it now. Well, as much as I can be, but I do have experience
when you go through that transition,
Yeah.
What was that like for you? I mean, were you relieved that you had carpet and MTV, or what was
No.
it devastating?
No, you always felt like an outsider, even as a young kid. Like, because one of the homes, for instance, one of my memories of first feeling like an outsider was like going to birthday parties with the foster parents, real children, like going to Chuck E. Cheese, and they'd have more tickets. You know what I mean? You'd just be sitting there knowing that you don't, get your share. You feel like an outsider as a child. And then, like, I know one of the Thanksgivings I had at one of them when I was young, I was in one of them with two of my sisters. They were twins, and we had so many kids in my home that they'd all have to get split up into different homes. But one,
Oh,
there was a couple times where I'd be with some siblings off and on. But sitting down at Thanksgiving, I remember one year a family sat and ate, right, and we were in the living room, and then they had us come in after, and then that was like weird. But I knew that wasn't right then, to have the seconds as your, you know what I mean? That, like, stuff like that. So there
yeah.
were many that are not good, and I know that, I understand why, and there's shortages now, and it can't be helped. But I do know when you break that rule now currently, if you have on your service plan to stay clean, don't drink, don't do drugs, if that's one of the issues you have that put you there, it starts over again. And there's things in court you have to do. And if he had a DUI and that was part of the plan, then it does start over again.
What do you think? This is all speculating right now. What do you think? Why would that camper be back? I would be thinking that was their opportunity to move on with their life with no ties to that hellhole. Why would they return?
Is there a camper on the property? Is this
I
what the
saw it in comments that the
is
camper is back.
it a new camper, or is it the grandma's camper?
I don't know. That's why I'm having this live. I started seeing new information that's recent. I thought, holy shit.
This is
I
what
don't
Audrey
know
was
this
talking about, right?
stuff. Huh?
Is this what Audrey was talking about earlier with the
Yeah.
has somebody done a drone or something to see this camper and that lights are on or
Well,
something to
that's
verify?
a smart idea.
I bet there's been something like that to prove it, and maybe that's what she means. So we'll have to investigate that, because
Yeah.
my first thought when I heard that was, oh, I wonder if they have some sort of security, like some kind of crackhead or something watching the property to have a spot to live, because they've had other people live in school buses and stuff, I think, on that property, and there
Are
might
you
be
kidding me?
there. Well, there might be. But I just started thinking of
Yeah.
what could it be really? Maybe there's some sort of security person, kind of, as so to speak, like, you can stay here if you watch the house for me, kind of thing.
But did you see in comments that Candace is back there?
Did somebody actually see her? I
I
thought
don't
she's
know.
of hiding. That's what I was wondering. Did somebody
That's why
actually?
I'm having a live. I want to know what the hell's going
Yeah.
on.
Was her car
Because
flooded?
I've been in abusive relationships before. I won't dox you guys. Don't worry. But I've been in those situations where I fled. And it kind of seemed like she fled. Why would you come back? Unless he has something dangling, right? You better get your butt back home, girl. I'm about to get out.
Well,
Dad is coming home, right?
well, we kind of those kind of patterns that people tend to get sucked in when they're in those abusive. It's easier to say to leave,
Stockholm syndrome.
and she
Yes.
probably, if she would go probably back to him, maybe they've been communicating when they were both on YouTube and stuff, or when he was in prison. Didn't she say she talked to him every day? I mean, for all we know, she's been communicating with him. They're recording the calls probably, and
Yeah, and
probably,
send them oodles and noodles money.
yep, oodles money. That's what.
So this is a great episode of Love After Lockup.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah, we're the show producers when you need them. I thought there were too many predators around the area. Holy cow,
There's
yes.
a lot of predators in that area. Yeah.
Wasn't that like a portal for the devil right there on that hill?
A lot of RSOs in that area, from what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, too damn many. And
Pretty,
that alone would have made me want to sell,
that,
if I were her.
I know, right?
But I guess they said that it was all in Dawn's name or whatever. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what happens to the property, not just them, but I wonder what he's going to do with that property,
Some sort of stipulation, if I remember correctly, where he can't just outright sell. Like it might be in his name or partially. There was something in the clause that it has to go to the oldest son, if
Right.
like a family home. I don't think he can just get rid of it like that.
Right. I was joking around in comments with and BDAC and Rose, kind of sort of joking, fingers crossed joking. I was saying, Benny kind of is our last bet. If we sent him with some Jack or Crown, a rock of cocaine, some heroin to go pick him up,
Yeah.
dude, you can have all this right here, right now, and this pack of Newports if you tell me where Summer is. And he's not had it all this time.
Oh, he's gonna
maybe take him to a titty bar or something.
He's gonna
and
no tolerance right now. He's gonna watch out. A lot of people,
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta watch out if he does the hardcore drugs, because some people OD when they get out because they don't have that same tolerance.
No shit, that wouldn't be good. No, don't OD. No, don't OD.
Well, really, maybe he'll just get drunk. Who knows? Maybe he'll do nothing. I don't know.
I would want to be. I don't know. It just seems like, right there when he gets out, if he has been clean all this time, that would be the opportunity to get him to talk. Hey man, I got a little something for you.
Yeah.
But you got to tell me where your daughter is, then I'll give it to you.
They might know a lot though. Sometimes they send undercover as like cellmates and stuff to get info when it's a big case.
That's
like
true.
He's
I think is he solitaire?
I think he's solitary, but we don't know what type of friends he's made in there. We don't know if FBI's been going in there. People might have been going in there and making bargains with him, deals. These are the conversations that we don't get to hear or know. We have to consider that anybody can be talking to him and getting stuff out of him, and he has to keep stuff secret. We don't know what he's saying, He might have got caught in lies, too. He might be on record. He might be talking to Candace on the phone and slip something, too, and they record everything. So we don't know what they have access to. We have to consider we don't know all these things that they might know.
If there was going to be, I know that this was a buzz. I know that this was a rumor. Like I said, we're just going to be speculating and throwing all kinds of crap out today, but that there might be a book or Netflix. And I believe Rose said yesterday, she said the title was,
the disappearance of Summer Wells.
The disappearance of Summer Wells, something like that. It sent goosebumps up my I thought, wow, they've even titled it.
Yeah, don't they? This is the weird thing too. Remember when Tim Mullins was like their manager or something, media manager? I heard Candace say that she he's not the real manager and stuff. So I don't know if he's claiming to be still, or he has anything on his website, or if he.
Did anybody ever find out why she was listed as an actress on IMDb? And there's a lot of creators that are listed as actors on IMDb. It was just sort of odd, wasn't it?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it said that she had played in Fable Feet.
Oh, I remember that whole creepy thing. I remember looking into that. That's a whole another weird thing.
Yeah.
I think Tina and Xander did a special on that.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, with so many show producers on YouTube, and then, YouTube going outside, YouTube can go in real life and showing up in their yard and then becoming buddies and then going partying. It makes you wonder, why would show producers want to go drinking and partying with two hillbillies on a hill? Unless,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I know that Tina did Life Path and Tina and Xander did some of the Feet Fable stuff. And it's like a whole nother, whoa, there's some weird shit going on with that. That's something to look at.
It's very weird. I mean, this isn't a typical case. And every time we start to talk about her, PSYOPs come into chat.
Yeah,
Why?
true. It's true.
Why?
I remember always saying that too when it would happen.
They don't want us to find out she's just an actress and these people aren't even her parents. Is that what they want? And this was, I don't know, I'll give you a chunk of my land if you make Summer America's sweetheart.
Or trying to draw attention from what's going on, to create this whole big diversion. How much of it?
The whole case could be a PSYOP. You're right.
With all these players in it and people of the church. And why did Tim Mullins, like you brought up, pay somebody to do this and that? That's a weird thing.
And he's tied to the FLDS in Colorado City.
And that's the cult one, right?
That's why I would look there first. When BDAC said, "Why would you go to Colorado City?" Well, that's where the cult is. That's tied to Tim. And when I mentioned that, and
I didn't know he was tied to that.
and he don't like me talking about it.
Oh well.
Me out of thousands of comments, here he zooms in and says, whatever. I'll have to go find it. I'll screenshot it. But I thought, out of all these people, why are you responding to my comment? Is it because the words Warren Jeffs are in it? It looked odd. And then it was like, here come all the trolls on me.
Yeah.
It's like, did I say it was so obvious. It was like, did I say what's the word? Buzzword? Did I say a buzzword?
Yeah.
So I've hung on to that idea ever since then because it was too odd. It stood out too much.
Yeah. If you notice a distraction and you get called on it, that's weird.
It wasn't Ernie a good distraction. I totally lost myself. 1 minute I was watching Benny and everybody else talking about Summer, and the next thing I know, I'm hooked on this little guy from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Was that not the biggest psyop ever? Because that totally derailed my attention for at least 6 months.
Yeah, many people, apparently.
And now he's getting out. I guess the show's over.
Yeah. Or is it? Then I started to think about that this morning,
Makes you wonder.
I'm like, does that mean maybe he'll be on and maybe it will come back in a couple days? Maybe it will be reinvented. Maybe it will be something.
He's got money all of a sudden.
Because he just got so many people on the channel,
I think that he got money because it's the end of the season. I think the whole damn thing was a show. And he tried to tell us, at his defense,
he did
tried to tell us, y'all were getting too upset over this. Remember, this is just a movie. And we were like, what? I guess we didn't do our research about improv virtual reality TV. And this is it. It's called improv.
Yes. Remember how he mentioned like he wanted to have a show like, kind of like the Patty Mayo did the police stuff, and the police stuff wasn't real. That portion of his show. I think he wanted.
That's the name I was trying to think of the other day. That was his hero,
Something like that. I was too focused on bullying stuff as a victim of all that to see what was before me. I guess you could say that I was so traumatized for him thinking he was bullied, but I wasn't realizing that it was a show. I guess you could say. And a lot of victims were drawn to that because of that, and they wanted to help and stop it because it's happened to them. Because if you talk to people in the group and people that were on that channel, a lot of us were victimized.
Yeah, no. And people don't understand. Well, you were such a diehard Ernie fan. Well, I was a diehard Panthers fan at one time until he kept losing games, I mean, God bless America. I get to change my damn mind, I mean, and thank God for women's lib. I get to spout it out whenever I want to. So I changed my mind. I came out of the fog. I'm not depressed anymore, and I see things for what they really are. Just like I said yesterday, perception is everything, not the truth. It's the perception of the truth that they're trying to sell us. Yeah. And those were Pelosi's words. Perception is everything. Without it, you have nothing. Mm-hmm. So if he did not throw that perception of he was being trolled and attacked, we wouldn't have reacted the way we did. Mm-hmm. It was our perception of the show that was real, but you get it wasn't, right?
Some of it might have been real, but it might have been manufactured for the content.
Yeah, there's the rogue trolls that go real life, but for the most part, that was manufactured.
Right.
Definitely. Because you don't high five a troll at the end of a segment. Like, bye, trader. See you tomorrow. And he did that. Okay, bye, trader. See you tomorrow. See you, Snowslayer. It was like, okay, come on.
That I did not see.
Oh, come on. He did it to everybody. And then you go, okay, bye, Nicolina.
Yeah, that.
Fuck you. Get the hell off my page. Block. It was Come on. It was come on in, Nicolina. Come on
When
in,
he
Big
came on, I
Come
was so
on in, Rap.
bad for
I
everyone.
I don't let people come to my door that I don't want there.
Yeah, that was
I don't
weird.
let them ring my doorbell.
Yep.
Come on, all that was bullshit.
Yeah, that threw me off a lot when
And
that happened.
that's why they're all on the bus together now.
I can't even, when I saw that happen, I was like, what the fuck is going on? What about everybody else over there?
Yeah. I just hate that it hurt people that
Yeah.
weren't eyes wide open. And I won't say their names, but I'm still getting comments about how hurt they are about, unfortunately there was emotions invested and
Absolutely. Yep. Watching for hours, watching the trauma, thinking the person's getting traumatized, and which traumatized many of us,
but wasn't this a good exercise for us?
Yeah, I would say.
It was eyes opening, wasn't it? I mean, now I'm going to be like, really, things aren't what they seem when they come out with the holograms. Did you see that in the news last night?
No.
They're going to start using holograms when, let's say, Biden doesn't want to do his live or his Zoom. They're going to use a hologram and use a pre-recorded. So we're not even going to know if we're really seeing Tom Cruise or if it's a hologram.
Shit.
It's going to get even worse. So, yay, technology. They're using it against us.
Technology is like, it's the future and the end of us in a way, I was thinking
all at once.
That's why I brought up recently, I asked somebody who knew about the Bible once, because I had this epiphany one day. I wanted to learn, didn't, they say that about the mark of the beast, and that something would be in your hand, right? That would be in the end, like technology and stuff. And I started thinking, oh my gosh, it's the iPhone. The iPhone is the chip in your hand, because we all look at how kids are now, and people, like, we grew up so differently. We would like shovel driveways and get out and work and go socialize and play in the woods, and that just doesn't happen now. And it's like the technology is the end of us. And I started thinking, oh my God, the iPhone is the chip in your hand, because they said that in the Bible. I thought that's why I wanted to learn about the Bible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was supposed to be spelled EYE instead of I. It's like the eye in the sky watching us. How does it know I was interested in strawberries today? I know all these strawberry ads are showing up.
If the app is on, they can listen to you, and those things that you are interested will pop up, the ads. And they also said something about you'll be able to pay with your hand. Well, you can pay with your phone. All these things it hit me like big. I'm like, it's the phone. I don't know. I started tweaking out on it one day, because no, for real, like symbolism and that, like what you can pay with your cell phone. You know what I mean? Apple Pay at the register, like that's in your hand. I don't know. I just started seeing this connection and tweaking out on it.
Hang on one second. I want to ask my husband if he can do something.
It will be inside your hand or your forehead, like a barcode. But do you see, Alicia, how the phone is like symbolic? Like it almost is like that. Maybe they're, I don't know. It really got to me, and I can't get it out of my head how the phone and the technology is the future and the end of us. Yeah. Yes. But it's just like it. We always have it in our hand. So
I got my husband looking something up for me. So anyway, so I want to read some of these comments. I don't mean to ignore your comments. Just when I get enthralled in conversation, it's hard.
I know. And the barcode's on your phone too. You scan it and you pay for it, and you look at things and you scan things with it. We don't put our phones down.
Have you heard anything else that might be new about summer other than what we both were talking about in Audrey's this morning with the?
I only did recently on another channel, only because I've been hearing and seeing another creator talk about how she put out information a while ago, and I'm like, all right, let me see what she's talking about. It was actually Lips, so I went back and looked on her channel, and she has some interviews from months ago with one of Summer's best friend's mom and stuff that I hadn't seen before, and I was surprised. And the person,
fill me in with that, because I didn't get to hear all that.
So the best friend that Summer had, reportedly, her name was Journey, and the mom's name was Marlena. And there was a couple of interviews from those people, and it was stuff I hadn't heard before. So I would, people might want to check that out. It's not very long.
Okay. Who did the interview? Where would I find
It was
that?
It's on Lips channel. If you hit videos and scroll down a bit, you'll see it might be in the title. Marlena is the keyword to look for in Journey. And
Okay.
there's a couple things on there like that. They're not very long interviews, but it was like, wow, I never heard this before. This is kind of weird.
Well, did Journey have to go get checked out? Is that the one that I think Don B had talked about might have to go get checked out and see if that she was
I'm not sure, but they talked about, I think one of them heard or overheard that they were packing up Summer and they had packed her up to go the night before she left. And I don't know if the little girl Journey overheard it or Marlena, but it was like they were talking like they had heard it was pre-planned and they had packed her a suitcase to go to get her out of there,
Damn.
And it fits all in with I know a lot of people aren't into this and I'm not really, but I cannot shake Serafina, and when I listen, I can't shake Donna Serafina's theory. And when I listen to one time on it hasn't left me, Chris M's interview when he had Jeannie and I keep forgetting the other sister. It was both sisters on. The one sister that never talks, Dawn's sister, told her Mary and Jeannie, yup. And her theory, the other sister that's not usually on Chris's show, her theory fit in with Donna Serafina's, and it can't be discredited that these people know Dawn. It's his own sister. And her theory like creeped me out. She had the whole thing planned and it fits just with Donna Serafina's, and it was kind of on the same wavelength. I'm thinking like how Candace may have allegedly, this is all just alleged theory that I overheard, not mine. I just kind of that, the theory that they were playing hide and seek. Candace arranged this. The kids wouldn't notice that they were playing hide and seek, and they had Summer hide in the shed. And while the kids were hiding, the boys, somebody came and grabbed her out of the shed, and then that set up the whole alibi that they could pretend she was missing because the kids said they were playing hide and seek. Like this sister, like had thought about it really and had it all down to a T. And she knows her brother. She knows Candace and her brother. So I wouldn't say, this is somebody on the street or YouTube that just made this up. She knows how he acts, how he cons, how he is. So I would think she deserves
Why was she dressed in boys' clothes?
I can't remember if that came up or not because I've heard so many different theories, but so other people on YouTube have thought that because the drug dealers were looking for the girl, that if they came to snatch her at any point, that they would think she was the boy. I mean, I've heard people say that.
Okay, now see, this is where I think the church could have stepped in. If drug dealers are after her, DSS is after her, natural thinking, and this one gets to be a hero if he sends her off to the church because she's only worth gold there in Utah, Colorado City, where their church is based. And he gets to reap all the rewards for sending her there. And he gets to look like a hero. Why wouldn't you send her there? And that's where he kept telling Candace he wanted to go back to, and she said, hell no. Because she would have to be submissive, of course.
Yeah.
And she would have to, take on that faith and take on their, everyday grind, which I'm sure she didn't want to do, which was a lot of work, and submissive. Of course, she wants to stay there where she can get all of her drugs and live freely and come and go freely where she wouldn't there. But if he were to send her into the church and into that cult,
how y'all doing there?
In his eyes, he's a good guy. He's saving her.
Well, I think in that Marlena interview, there was somebody, I don't remember if it was her precisely, but somewhere on Lips, on one of those interviews with Lips, whether it was one of the old men or something, there was talk of Dawn confiding and saying that he had given her over to somebody, and I don't know if it was, I think it said church, that he had to sacrifice, Summer had to be sacrificed to pay for their sins.
And then I thought that when she went during that interview, and he said, well, she's probably dead by now. And she goes like that. I think that she thought she'll be safe if I send her to the church. Okay, I'll go along with that. And then he goes, well, they had to kill her because of these damn YouTubers.
Yeah. Well, that interview said that supposedly he said it was a sacrifice to pay for his sins. And that fits in with the whole Donna thing too, and the sister's
Yeah.
theory. Somebody came to get her. He thought he was doing what he was supposed to, giving her over. Maybe he owed debts. It all can tie together and make one story that fits. And
Hmm.
and then he changed his mind, and it was too late. I don't know, but I really hope this gets solved. I really think it will.
I would like to know. I wonder if is it public information and adoption.
I think only after 18, maybe it can be in the courts since it does go through the court
So
system.
it's not like a marriage that's in the paper kind of thing,
Or
right?
or
No.
adopted, maybe that's in the court. I mean, the courts aren't. Maybe they protect it only if they're sealed or under 18. I'm not sure
Hmm.
if it's
Well, that's
open.
good because if they are somewhere safe, I mean, could you imagine him showing up in a drunken rage saying, "Give me my damn kids back"?
Hmm.
I mean, hopefully they don't know. Like you said, they're in protective and nobody knows where they are because I could totally see that happening.
Because they wouldn't be able to go to school or do anything because there'd be reporters and people on YouTube bugging them. So they might even have had to change their last name temporarily.
Hmm.
Action.
That would be smart.
Yeah, it had to be done.
I did like their names, Waylon after Waylon Jennings, and what was the other one? Josie.
Yeah.
Josie. I liked their names.
There's
And
enough.
Summer Moon, Utah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they have good names.
I hope she's found.
Makes you think though. This has never been anything like this I can compare it to, where all these twists and turns and connections and the lunacy is just it's you can't inexplicable.
I do feel like, now that Ernie's kind of gone off the rails, Benny is our last hope at getting Don to talk.
Well, he was here earlier. I wonder if he's here now. Are you here, Benny? I think
Yeah, are you here, Benny? Let's all pitch in for a rock and some liquor
I know.
and a pack of smokes.
I think at some point early on, Don's in jail time. I think wasn't Benny sending him money? Maybe he can answer that. I think he put some money on his books. Maybe they were writing. Maybe he was. I'd like to know that.
Yeah, sending them dirty pictures with some noodle money. I don't know what they're allowed to even have in there now. I mean, they can't even smoke in jail now, can they?
It's no. It's way different. And I know most jails are switching over because my a family member told me this. So in the prisons, what was happening is some of the girls, the wives and friends, were spraying the liquid drugs onto the paper in the mail.
Oh, I've seen that. You're right. They do that.
So they were getting those and using that. That's another jail drug, so they could do that. Because I know somebody that told me that they did it. So that's part of the reason the jail took over a new system, and they get those tablets, and they can only some jails have more tablets than others, and the tablets are locked, and they can only access certain things. Like they can't go surfing on Facebook or something. They can read their emails. So now they get their letters scanned in by the jailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have certain pictures, certain amounts, and everything mail gets scanned in and sent to them in email, so they can't get jail paper. I mean, paper that has drugs on it. And that was a smart thing for the jail to do.
Hold on, I want to read you something. Now, my daughter was murdered in 2011, okay? And there were several people involved. One of them was her boyfriend, who was from the Dominican Republic and was about to fly back to the Dominican Republic. And he got, what do you get, 18 years, honey?
18 years.
Okay. I want you to hear this, okay?
Yeah.
What was his middle name?
Victor Malgon.
Hugo. That's right. I want you to hear what all he's been able to get in there. I'm going to read you his infractions.
Okay.
So when they said yesterday, "Oh, Gypsy," why isn't this going? What did I do wrong here? Hang on just 1 second. If I put a space in it, it won't work. Yep, there it is. Okay. They said, "Oh, don't kid yourself." I think it was BDAC. He's getting drugs in there. He's not going without. He's smoking a cigarette in there. He's getting some corn mash in there or whatever the hell it is they call it that they make in the toilet. And I thought, you know what? You're right. So he probably hasn't been dry the whole time.
Mhm.
And in my fantasy where, we hijack him and offer him drugs for the exchange of information, that's my plan.
Oh, he's going to get bombarded with offers. He's all set when he gets out. Media is going to be after him. YouTubers, like, he's going to either probably have been warned by the FBI.
Well,
I'm sure
offers. There'll be book offers. There'll be show offers. Yeah.
there's going to be all kind of vultures after him. So he's going to either fall into doing something for money, which money's going to tempt him or something like that to do something, or he's going to be ordered or suggested strongly by people, lawyers or people in the jail that tell him not to talk or do anything. But they might like him to talk because before they were wanting them to talk.
I think Ronnie could have done a little better. I think he could have put them both in a cell with nothing, and made them dry out in a painful way. Then they would have talked. But I guess they're only allowed to do so much. They did it to Watts. They held him for hours. Whatever. Okay, so listen to this. When BDAC reminded me of that yesterday, I was like, he's right. So enticing him wouldn't work because listen to this. Ever since he's been locked up since 2011, substance possession, refused to submit drug or breathalyzer, substance, disobey order, substance. So he's right. He's not in there dry.
He's a Euro.
What do you think of that? That they're able to get all the, and another thing, he's been able to set up. This is a guy that was involved in my daughter's murder. Robbed her deceased body and then tried to move her before the law got there. And he's able to have new Facebook accounts. And they're like, well, this is part of the rehabilitation process. He's able to have an iPad.
Well, those iPads. Okay, so speaking of the tablet program, like I was saying, where they're locked, somebody told me that at 10 o'clock, those things shut off. So it's programmed to shut off at a certain time. Like my brother was in prison not too long ago, and he told me how if you press the button, they figured out how to jailbreak them, unbreak them, or whatever. Like somebody took my brother's and he never got one, and he didn't want to push for it, probably because he would have got beat up or something. I don't know. Somebody had his, but anyways, his roommate let him use it once in a while. And some prisons rotate them and they take them, collect them at 10. You know what I mean? But they shut off, so they can't use them all night or stay on them. But they figured out a way to hack them where they press the button on and off at 10 o'clock so that it goes back, it resets it or something. So they always figure out new scams. If there's
Alicia says that my daughter's boyfriend or whatever is in prison. Yes, he is. And she said Don is in jail. Big difference. They probably let him smoke, but getting drugs and alcohol is harder. Does anybody have any experience with that? Is it harder in county?
Well, my brother he told me that there is drugs in there. You can get them, but it's about money and putting money on people's books and all that and doing favors. There's a whole system in there. They have a whole different world in there, how you watch people's back and you borrow the noodles and you have to pay 1.5 back percent. Like if you you know what I mean? Or 2 times. If you borrow 1, you got to pay 2 back, for instance. And then people build what they call stores. Like I heard all about it. Some people want to build stores so they can charge people double if they don't have, they can't get their
hustle.
candy. Yeah, it's a total hustle system in there. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'll watch this guy for you. You do this for me, type of thing.
I thought that's what we were involved in with Ernie, didn't you? Yeah, that didn't turn out. I don't remember getting my back scratched.
Yeah, my brother was doing artwork and people were hitting him up for that, for instance. And I said, well, what are you drawing on? Like, how are you doing this? And he said, I figured out a way to tear up bed sheets. And he would do his artwork because he's a good artist too.
Oh.
And they would do it on the squares of the sheet and give those to people, and they would send them to their girlfriends. They would have him draw portraits and stuff, give him a photo, and he would have this whole list of photos he has to do for this person and that. And then one week he got a whole extra lunch and dinner for him and his roommate. Like double food was coming in from somebody that did the food cart. You know what I mean? Like they hook each other up and stuff like that. There's a whole operating system in there.
What do I press to make this come up on the thing? He went to go smoke.
I'm looking at the comments.
Oh, okay, I get it now. Oh, cool. Thelma's communication in jail was midnight.
I get the jail
She was
prison.
in jail, but not prison. All social media was blocked. You can only
Yeah.
use them to listen to me. Now, see,
Get cards.
Victor was able to have a new Facebook page. He took photos of himself. You could clearly tell he was locked up in the
And
photo.
it got hacked, or there was a smuggled phone in there. That's how they figured out how to jailbreak the tablet, like my brother was talking about.
Jimmy says use canteen as currency. That's what he did.
That's why the ramen noodles are big there, because some of them, like my brothers, they were eating dinner serving them you picture a bunch of grown men eating dinner at 4:00. Naturally, by 9 they're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
So they want noodles. So they have ways of pouring hot water in them and doing this and that. But they're starving. Grown men need to eat at dinner time, not 4:00.
Right. It's always interesting watching when I watch Love After Lockup, or I'm watching a case, how when they go in, they gain so much weight. Where's it coming from? Is it because they're drying out from drugs?
Well, some of them now allow them, if you are on the street and you get arrested and you have a legal prescription, you come in on, let's say you're on, what's that substitute that's like heroin? I get them mixed up. It starts with M. Oh my God, why am I having a mind blank?
Alicia said, my ex-husband was in and out of a small town jail when he was young. They let him have cigarettes, but they are watched too much, as many people.
Many people. Oh, I learned about how they light them. Want to know how they light cigarettes? I learned from my brother. They roll up the so they watch like prison guards. This is disgusting. You won't believe this. So they watch prison guards that do chew and stuff, and when they spit it, they'll collect the tobacco, right? They dry it out. This is how desperate they are. They dry out the chewed up chew, and then they roll it in like toilet paper or paper, and then they spark it up when no one's looking. They go to the outlet and they light it there. They spark it up by sticking it in the outlet.
Jimmy said, Sarah Smalls, we always took a little off our plate, and at 9 we made a setup and everybody eat from it, like a buffet.
Yeah, because everyone's hungry at that time.
The food in prison is high in fat, plus all the commissary stuff is crap.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Like if you see Amber Birch, who assisted Pazuzu Algared in murdering those boys I showed earlier, she gained so much weight when she was in county. It was interesting.
Well, some people on the streets are on drugs and not eating. You have to factor
right.
Stuff, and they're not eating properly. They're doing crack, not eating for days. That's probably why. And when they're off the crack, they're eating again. And it's methadone. That's the one. So if you have some of the jails now, at least in my state, if you have a script when you come in, they will allow you to be on that.
Cigarettes were in commissary in 01 and 03. Wow.
Yeah, that alone would keep a lot of people from having behavior problems, to have that cigarette.
Until they run out and they can't afford to get it, and then they have an outburst.
Yeah, but they'll do that. That will be used as currency too, more than the noodles.
Yeah. I've seen, like, my husband, he acts like he's damn on heroin when he can't have his nicotine. It's like, whatever we got to do, he's got to have cigarettes because he just can't.
Yeah, they say
he smoked all of his life. He's in his 60s, So
bad.
So where do y'all think this is going to go now in the next 2 weeks? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think DSS is going to move in and charge one of them? I think that it was Candace that was living out of town until recently. So she's
in hiding.
She would be there, able to take not a warrant, but I guess it would be a summons.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
as far as I know,
it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. I'm sorry, what is that?
Oh, I was going to say, I don't believe she's made any effort with the children either in the time that he's been in lockup.
Is he in his 50s or 60s?
That I can't remember. That I can't remember. I bet somebody in chat knows.
Because if he's in his 50s and they do stay split up, he could get another girl pregnant.
Ugh, that's a thought.
Mm-hmm. If he got him another little young honey and twinkly eyed over him.
Well, hopefully they stay the hell away from him, given the nature of what's going on. And we don't know what's going on with that other stuff either. You know, he might have charges too in the future. He might have
In
more.
Utah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Has Chris M mentioned anything else in a long while?
Not since the previous ones, and it sounded like they have come and already talked to him. So they have come to that jail.
But this is Utah, right?
Yeah, they've gone there to where he is currently done. As far as I know.
So if they were to be charged, it would be on the soil where his church is, and they're going to protect him.
If he was going to be charged, how do we know that Utah is not going to be there at the door the day he gets out too? Do we know that?
I just feel like they're not going to push the issue with
Some people
anyone
say,
involved in that church.
yeah, some people say no. I mean, about the sisters and getting sexually molested and everything.
Yeah, why are some people saying, "Oh, that's too long ago"?
Some people say that, but I guess the statute of limitations, I don't think there is one on that. I think that's what it was in his state. So he could be potentially, I don't know where that stands, but last I had really, watched, he could be facing charges. But some people say it's too old, they won't do anything, they won't prosecute. But it didn't sound like it. It sounded like Chris M was really helping them and developed a friendship with them and wants to help Jeannie.
Yeah, you would think he would have some major pull with the FBI, right?
We'll have to wait and see. Sounds like people have been talked to. I'm going to have to rewatch some of those shows, and get refreshed on that. I think now that you mention it.
Me too.
I mean,
if I were Chris, I'd have to call up Bob and say, "Hey, Bob, I don't know. I guess you're probably not allowed to do that.
Yeah, I'm curious now, and I want to refresh everything that I watched when I heard, Mary and Jeannie together on that one episode when they were both there. I want to hear her theory again because it was a strong, good, solid, well thought out theory of somebody that knows her brother.
When they went and saw Dr. Phil, they detoured and stopped somewhere, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
What was that? And they made that with the rocks.
Oh, right. They went to the secret place, the special place, and the sister went there trying to find. She got suspicious, and she's taken many walks there to find these special locations to see if she could find anything suspicious. Because I watched her live stream, or maybe it wasn't a live stream, but it was a video that she recorded walking around trying to find something that looks like a potential memorial or potential gravesite if it was ashes, so to speak, because she thought they said they were going there to make a memorial for Summer, and she thought, well, why would they be going to do that?
Why would you memorial?
Exactly. So she was trying.
When my daughter died, after the funeral, we were in a rental car and we drove directly to where the crime scene was. I wanted to see if I could get any kind of feeling of my daughter there. So
yeah,
we went there and we made a memorial of sorts. And I don't remember why we did this, but we took, I want to say it was a stuffed teddy bear or something and some other things and put it where she was shot. That to me is a memorial where she died, the last place that she took her breath. That's where you put a memorial, right?
Yeah, that's typically what I think of when I drive and
see a car crash and you see all these crosses on the side of the road at a tree.
It's true.
Why would they choose that place?
Yeah, because I'm waiting for something custom built to put on my sister. Actually, on the 16th of this month, in a couple days, is the first year anniversary. My sister and her baby were killed, and where I'm having a custom, cross and everything built to put on that site. Two crosses.
So sorry, Sarah.
I'm sorry for you. I'm gonna put a cross in a cross. little baby, the baby cross on. Like I designed it and brought it to the wood shop and everything, and I'm gonna have that shipped to the accident site because I can't go there. It's in Alaska, but I'm gonna have somebody else that I know that's there put it there. But that's exactly what you're right. That's what I'm doing there because that's where she passed away.
So, and he's saying, or she's saying that was in Utah, right? See what
They
I'm
stopped there and she went on this walk trying to find something like rock stack, something like that. Like, why would you do something like that? Dawn mentioned something like that about a memorial.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird, don't you think? Why would they go?
Yes, and the way they're standing there with their back. Give me a break, y'all.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be romantic, where
He
you're
gets
walking
out the
off
third.
into the sunset. Give me a break,
Oh, Jimbo asked does he get out the 30th? Because I thought it was Halloween. It's the 30th, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Day before Halloween. The day Pazuzu bit his arm off.
Favorite place in Utah, and she was named Summer Moon, Utah, because of that spot. So we wanted something there to represent. Right, exactly. It's not like we just talked about where we're two people that have lost that want the memorial where it happened. So it's weird, kind of. I don't know.
Huh.
Hollywood Walk of Fame. I don't remember that one.
When I heard rumor that she was born to do this, wonder if that's why he named her that. He knew that was going to be her demise.
Yeah.
Why would he throw Utah when she wasn't born there?
Well, somebody in chat said it was his favorite place, or Alicia, right there.
Did they ever show her birth certificate? I think they said she was born at home, so there wasn't one.
I remember that rumor, and I don't know if it got. I feel like it got squashed. I feel like it did resurface at some point, but I'm not sure. Or maybe it was just Candace that came and spoke about it and said she does
So
have one.
there is a birth certificate.
I can't say for certainty that I saw one. I think I remember Candace saying that one, but I can't remember. There's been so many twists and turns.
Hey, let me throw this conspiracy theory out there to you. When we were saying that, I found her in the IMDb app, which anybody can download, and you type in her name and it says she was in Fable Shoes or Fable Feet or whatever it was called. If there's not a birth certificate, could it be because Dawn's not on it and neither is Candace and she's an actress and this is all bullshit?
I don't know, but in that Fables thing, and as I was saying, Enchanted Life Path, and I think Tina and Xander did a special on it. There was a weird somebody made that might be those Pervo snuff films. Somebody made some kind of film in the Fables titled. It was Michael Vaughn and Summer Wells Hide and Seek in Plain Sight, Hide and Seek in Plain Sight, starring Summer Wells and Michael Vaughn. Okay, that's freaking weird. And it was after they were both missing. Why would they be starring in a film?
So you're familiar with what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I watched.
Isn't it convenient that there's no birth certificate? Okay, so let me throw this out there. Show me proof of life before you show me proof of death. Well, she was never enrolled in school, so there's no proof of her life as Summer Moon Utah Wells, which is a pretty actress's name. I'm just really being conspiracy theory right now, total acid trip for a second. Let's just say they picked these people to play her parents. And it has been a total psyop. From what, I don't know. Maybe watching what Biden's doing. I don't know. But there is a huge following on YouTube. And they figured out that this is where we come for alternative news. And so they have to control that in some way, don't they? Or we're going to start telling each other the truth.
Oops. There's never been anything like this with all these twists and turns and connections and people.
That's some sci-fi shit right there.
Look, think of all the people that have been involved, all the weird shit and all the weird people.
Well, show me a birth certificate.
Well, let's that could be Googled. I wonder if somebody can find it because I don't know if it was shown or not. We can look into that. if anyone ever shown that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't put anything past our GOV. I just don't. Not when I've read things about, previous wartime and previous unrest when we weren't the favored country in the world because our leader wasn't, So this does happen, and we get caught up in tunnel vision in our little this right here. And as long as we stay like this, we're not going to look up and go, what in the hell?
Yeah. Total captured.
So sometimes I have to step out of that fantasy world and realize reality and get my perception back and get perspective back and clarity and out of the fog of this that they want us doing.
It's been one hell of a movie this last year, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been one movie after another, it seems like. And it all started when people started being sequestered to their home and they depended on this for their entertainment and social outlet. And they depended on this for where they go for news because they know not to trust outlets. So they're thinking we have to control the information that they're sharing. We have to control that in some way. I don't believe anything at face value anymore. Not after what the shit show I've seen here in the last months. It was eye-opening as to how easily it is for your perception to be skewed and for someone to take advantage of you and manipulate you.
Emotionally manipulated. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And how easy it is to see a conversation be diverted.
Yep.
Right before our eyes. So, show me proof those are her parents.
Yeah, I guess I'm not totally one of those. I can see why.
She's not stolen.
I'm not one of those people that goes totally that all way with the, that she's not born and everything. But I've watched some of that stuff, and you have to consider everything at this point.
You got to consider everything, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah. Because it's freaking crazy.
But you never freaking know. I mean, sci-fi sometimes is reality.
Never seen a movie this long with so many characters.
No, I'm ready for this one to end, Sarah.
This one's parent, and everybody's crazy in this movie. There's so many
parents. It made me ultra paranoid. and I think that I distrust people even more now, which is not good.
Oh, look what Alicia says. The next comment below, the one you have highlighted. Have you guys got the message on YouTube, how to spot manipulation?
Do you remember The Art of Manipulation? Ernie said he read it years ago. I did too. And I hate the fact that I didn't identify. Things are clearly talked about in that book. I just got so caught up and the charisma and that I needed a hero. I was looking for a hero and I thought that was going to be it. And here we are. So with all the disappointment that goes along with it.
I think a lot of it was distraction too for a lot of people of real life. Because a lot of people, where you said being trapped in the home and stuff, look, it starts out as entertainment, whether some people it was a hero, some people it was just entertainment. Some people got caught up in the emotional, the what they thought was a bullying, harassment, and abuse, like a movement, because you were victimized yourself, and a lot of people got caught up in the entertainment. We're trapped.
Let me interrupt for just 1 second and answer this right here. Can you stop?
Yeah, there you go. There's a good one.
Okay, I'm going to answer that for you. Mind control. Okay. I don't know at what party you're affiliated with, but in my opinion, especially when they were talking about using holograms when Biden doesn't feel like going to work, we are in a time when perception is what's important, not reality or the truth. So it's our responsibility as people on this planet to always be questioning authority, because
Mhm.
they don't always have your best interest at heart. So it's called mind control. I don't know how old you are, but back when I was in school, they taught about propaganda, the use of psyops, the
Mhm.
use of mind control, and how that is another way to be at war. And I feel like if we're at war with a country that happens to be the smartest on the planet, it's going to be this kind of war, not this kind of war.
Yeah.
Not a war of brawn, but a war of brains. It's my opinion.
Yeah, not always the war as you would think a war is, so to speak, the physical.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother, couple of beers.
Not always
Why I
like
feel that way.
spiritual war, which many feel is going on. Is lots of different type of war.
Hmm. I mean, why is China buying up our farmland?
I think they want to
Why
kill.
do they have control of our meat supply and processing? Why do they control our opiates and fentanyl?
Mhm.
That's a lot of power to
Yeah, you
screw
can
up
get
our nation.
that could go on for hours. That whole thing.
Hmm.
A lot of it could it be just started out by greed, where people want the best deal and they'll work for cheap. They send it there to save money, or is it deeper than that? Is it both?
I think that we have to be aware of whatever it might be.
Exactly. Doesn't hurt to think or ponder anything.
So just keep eyes wide open and don't always take things at face value. Always question and then question your question.
Yeah, be
Yeah,
open to ideas and not so quick to condemn. That's crazy. Think right. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Being a free thinker, sometimes you do sound crazy, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know that. Have we interviewed any? I mean, I don't know. There's ways of doing things,
Japan's the smartest country, but China wants to kill us. That's my opinion.
Exactly. They want our land. They want our land. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, agree.
Um, so here's one more comment here. I'm trying to put them all up there if I'm not able to read them. So after coming out of the fog of a mind fuck, which is what we've been in,
Yeah.
you have to question everything, or you would be an idiot. You have to question everything, or you're a sheep. I'm not going to trust mortal man like that ever again. Here I was sitting there listening to him tap dance rather than going to church. And that's my fault. That's my fault for getting so enthralled and thinking that there was a hero involved in it and that there was going to be, a resolute to the case. And before I know it, that wasn't the center of the whole thing. It was him. And
Yeah.
then it became too much about him. And it's like, where are we at? What are we doing?
Mhm.
Stay on the path to what you eat at a restaurant? You act like you ain't never had it before. I don't think so. I've seen Andy Griffith. I grew up here. Anyway, I just didn't think that was a real good storyline. That I'm a silly hillbilly that's gone to New York. What's that TV show? What was that guy's name? Ernest Goes to Camp. Ernest Goes to New
Oh my
York.
goodness, I loved all those movies.
Yeah, he
So
was
many of them.
great.
I used to put them in the VCR tape. Did you see Alicia's?
Uh-uh.
Dawn, it says the stand. Dawn's sisters said they didn't know about her. Candace doesn't have any close family ties outside of her mother. Oh, that's right. It goes to Jimbo's.
Oh, they
There are
did not know Summer. Okay.
Yeah, and
Candace doesn't have any close family ties outside her mom. Wow.
Jimbo said before that, I missed that part. There are 0 people that saw this little girl grow up, her siblings. I believe there is mind control, but not with Summerwell's case. I'm 49. Did you
He's
see the
young.
Enchanted Life Path. See, he did this video on this with one of the conspiracy theories. Just one theory out there,
You
but it's
know Carl with Enchanted Life?
yeah, he's brilliant. But
Yeah, he is.
I know he's not always for everyone. But I mean, some of his stuff I think is pretty good, and he does think pretty good. But he did this one thing, and there's a couple pictures of supposed Summer Wells out there, and it don't look like her. That's the weird part. It's not her.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? Why did they have pictures that aren't Summer that says they're Summer? That is not the same girl.
I just know every time we start saying, "Oh, she could have been a psyop too," people come in, "Oh, no, 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 no," that makes me question it even more. Don't try to tell me I'm silly.
It did just happen. It did
That just makes me
happen.
like, what was it? They said, Don Wells said, it wasn't like somebody came in here and whisked her away, to save her. That's the first place I'm gonna look because you said not to.
He said
Don't
some things.
look over there. There's not a crime over there. Kind of like, don't look in the shed. It's nothing.
Yeah, he said things that fathers don't say. He said
Yeah.
some very personal things. So
Yeah, I played some of those sound bites yesterday, and in my opinion, it sounded like a pretty damn close confession because he gave a lot of detail about what he thinks happened to Summer.
mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, rainbows and butterflies and puppy dogs. It was disgusting.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just father. I don't picture saying normally speaking. Oh, I think YouTube's gonna break when he gets out. Everyone's gonna be after him for interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be addicted to YouTube, so is he gonna stay off and follow any recommended?
I don't see him coming back to YouTube.
I don't know.
I don't think that they were avid, proficient users, and I think he's going to go back to bar hopping and whore hopping.
Back when I was watching, he seemed to be addicted to it too, because he was always channel hopping and being interviewed by different channels like all the time, and he'd go online drunk. People even saw him on camera IV using. He had the needle in him. They caught the needle in one of the shots when he was moving the camera. I mean, him and Candace would fight on the toilet, and him and Candace would fight, and I don't know. It depends if he's going to be on alcohol and drugs. I don't know if he could stay with YouTube.
I think that the reason he opted to do the full time was so that he didn't have to get clean.
Exactly. So he wouldn't have to be tested all the time. Me too.
Well, we've gone for an hour speculating. I guess I'm going to let y'all go and catch somebody else's live. But thank you for bringing me up to date on all that. I appreciate it, Sarah.
Yeah, I think there's a couple channels live right now, actually. Jimbo, I think live. That's you're here, but I got a thing across my screen that said you're live. Did you post something, Jimbo? Why did I get a notification you're live? Someone recently asked me if I thought Don was a narcissist because his lack of emotion, but a narcissist would put on a show of fake emotions during a time like this.
So he's a sociopath. They don't have emotion, is that right?
Some of his face when he talks is like frightening, like nobody's there. His eyes, it's empty.
They're glossy, aren't they?
Yeah, they just look empty sometimes, like a psycho.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Mama T is live, isn't she? I guess we can go on over and show her support.
Yeah, she had texted me not long ago.
I think she was bringing everybody up to date on the little boy in
Oh, right.
Georgia.
I hope that gets her soon.
Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and end this, and we'll see y'all over there.
All right, sound good.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, anytime.